Welcome to episode 157 of The Endless Stream. I'm Aidan, and this week I am joined by Kevin. We are two artists, illustrators, filmmakers, and all-round shit talkers, and each week we take some of the endless stream of content brought to you through Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify, YouTube. Wherever you get your content, we take a chunk of it, we watch it, and we talk about it. This week, of course, we are talking about the usual nerd news, movie news, whatever's going on in our lives. And also, we are talking about Blade. We are talking about 1998's Blade. We are talking about the Wesley Snipes movie, Blade. It's been a while since I watched Blade. I watched Blade. I enjoyed it. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to the podcast, heading over to iTunes, heading over to Spotify, rating, reviewing, liking, subscribing. All of those good things really help us out. On top of that, you can head over to Instagram at The Endless Cast, where we put up art and clips to go with each episode. And that's a great place to send us a message. Tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're right. Suggest something for us to watch. It's a good place to send us a direct message, send us a comment, let us know what you're thinking. Or you can send us an email at theendlesscast@gmail.com. All of that being said, let's get into the episode. Trying to wake myself up. Gotta get that energy up. Gotta bring me to life.
Welcome.
Wake me up.
Inside.
Can't wake up. What is your favorite early 2000s pop punk? New metal.
Okay. Well, that was my whole favorite. That was my favorite genre at the time. So it's
that was the genre. That was
my favorite stuff.
That was the future.
Yeah. What was my favorite new metal song? That's a big question. I haven't got a clue.
Well, can you nail that down to
I loved Motivating World So Cold, Spy Shank, Smother. I loved Papa Roach Between Angel and Insects, Papa Roach Last Resort. Lots of Papa Roach. Loved Papa Roach back in the day. I'm actually going to go see Sum 41 on Wednesday, and Sum 41 were probably one of the first albums, if not the first album I bought.
Where?
Fairview.
Where are Sum 41 playing?
Fairview Park.
Right. Just in the park?
Yeah.
Do they not have homes?
No. That's why they're touring again.
Were Sum 41 Heaven as a Halfpipe?
No.
Who is that?
Don't know who that is. That might have been Lit or someone. I don't know that. If I die before I skate. Oh yeah, before I wait. At least in heaven I can skate.
Oh, a group called OPM.
You need to listen to that song.
Menace to Sobriety.
Oh yes, excellent. No, Sum 41 were Fat Lip.
Yes.
All Killer, No Filler. Oh god, yeah. I blanked on Sum 41 songs, but they're actually all great. Chuck was a great album. Actually, to be honest, I listened to them for years and years, and I really, really like them. So I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Fair enough. Yeah. Is it just them, or is there a supporting act, or are they the support act?
I don't know.
How did this land on your plate?
Well, I saw they were coming and I wanted to go. And then a couple of my friends from Athlone said they were going, so I was like, why not? Do you want to go?
No.
Okay.
It would be wasted on me. While
yes,
it would
fair.
Undoubtedly be a good show, it would be weighted on me. I have no airs, graces, or snobbery around the pop punk new metal such and such of the such whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun and we loved it, and some of them were bad and some of them were good,
mm-hmm.
and you know.
So some of them have stood the test of time, some of them have not.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that's
Exactly.
Isn't that just life?
Isn't that? I mean, I liked the entire Daredevil movie off the back of that song.
Yeah, there's a few Evanescence songs in that movie, and it's great.
Yeah.
Wake me up inside. Can't wake up.
That's how you dance fight out your feelings.
Yeah. Speaking of dance fighting out your feelings, JoJo. What's that JoJo?
JoJo Siwa.
Yeah, she's an aggressive dancer. She's very aggressive.
She is doing something.
Yeah, I heard she's the only lesbian in the world. The first lesbian.
The first lesbian?
She's the first lesbian. She's inventing something, I believe, called... Hang on now. What was it called? Gay pop, I believe it was called. She kind of wanted to do something that no one had done before. So, you know, she invented gay pop.
That's interesting. I do love that if I Google JoJo Siwa, the number of articles or headings or search terms that are is she okay?
Yes, she is. She's not okay, pal. She's great.
The thing with JoJo Siwa that I get I don't know, baffled by a little bit is like, I feel like she's been around for fucking ages,
Yeah, I know what she has though.
but she's been a kid forever. So
She was on, I think,
Dance Moms or
Dance
something
Moms.
like that.
Yeah, and there's a lady on Dance Moms, and she's crazy. And that was JoJo's teacher for years. I've definitely seen 1 or 2 episodes. I might have even seen 1 or 2 with Brian and Tara. I know Emer has told me a bit more about it, but JoJo then was just like this child pop star stuff. But she's kind of doing. It's like every child pop star when they transition from teen to young adult to whatever they struggle. But she seems to be like just it's like kind of. It's like they go through their bad edgy phase.
Well,
hers is everything's so manufactured, everything's so disingenuous, everything's so fake. And even when like she was asked like kind of like who would be her ideal guest in a podcast or something like that, she was just like, oh, let me go crazy, let me say something like one of my exes, and it's just like whoa, that's crazy. You could talk to an ex.
Yeah, I the thing is, it's
She's
a very
immature.
Very immature, very narrow worldview by the sounds or feel of it. Very limited. Like, look, the thing is, we've seen this over and over and over again as like young performers try and shed the squeaky clean or the childish image, but
And she's trying to do that, but in a very dance school way.
well, that's the thing of it. It's like anyone else would like drop the costumes and the pageantry and like again
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus slopping around in baggy jeans, smoking weed and being raucous.
Yeah.
And her version of it is the same thing but just with like dark color tones, you know.
No, but it's like it's
dressed
the same,
like Kiss.
But no, it's the same thing except for black glitter. Like I think it's SNL or one of them does a great bit. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's so funny. There's a few great bits out there. But SNL, JoJo is on TV, and she's just like, I went from rainbow sparkles to black sparkles.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like she's just so kind of like the SNL bit is great, but she even ends up going like, "Wow, I'm the first lesbian ever." It's just because she's so like high on herself and just. Well,
I don't even know that. Like, I want to give her the
benefit of the doubt. She's
wildest benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
and go. Someone has told her that
Absolutely,
she needs
bro.
to do this.
Absolutely,
And she is doing it in as committed a way as she possibly can. But
she's
it's
working.
crap.
Yeah, no,
It's so crap. I'm so dark and edgy. It's like, are you? Like, she's dressed as fucking Rainbow Bright drinking vodka. And it's like, did she just drink... How much vodka did she just drink out of that bottle? So that's water.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, it's panto time. It's so fucking weird.
It's weird. Like I know it sounds kind of like I don't want. It's just basically it's like weird dance moms.
Yeah.
Trying to make their child edgy.
Yeah. It's what you do when you don't. It's what you do when you don't understand the. Like. With all of the experience, context, language, understanding that she has of things, these are the tools she uses to do the next thing. But she doesn't understand that like she needs to like go over here where there's a different tool set and there's a different fucking universe of behaviors. And
I know, yeah.
Like
Well, she's still very much just being petted as a child star, and it feels like that, you know. There's nothing kind of there's nothing sincere about it.
she actually needs to get a sketchy friend that sells her coke. That's genuinely what's going on. It's like, but like she
needs
doesn't
to
like
live.
the idea that she's doing this sort of like marketed thing in a way that's like safe or feels safe.
Yeah.
Is funny, and it's like, well, at least she's probably safe.
Yeah.
You know. Whereas, like again, we have examples of celebrities where it's like, oh, Amy Winehouse doesn't look well.
Yeah, well,
You know?
yeah, I know Britney Spears went through real things, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure Miley did too. To be fair as well, can't have been easy having Billy Ray as a papa. That's no shade to Billy Ray, but well, I don't know. Is it shade to Billy Ray? I like Ricky Ricky Hart. That's about as relevant as to me.
Well, the thing with that is, he's one of those guys where there's probably 12 albums and he tours and we just don't know them. You know what I mean? It's just country audience.
Yeah, I definitely heard a good bit of his music growing up for sure, and I remember Achy Breaky Heart very vividly growing up. You know that one?
Yeah, Achy Breaky Heart.
Yeah.
Do you remember? What was the medical show he was on?
Well, I know he was on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Was he?
I have a feeling Billy Ray was on that show. Google that.
Was he the guy who played the Thing?
Yeah, maybe.
God, do you remember Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman? That was it. That was the whole minute.
Of course, she was great. Maybe he wasn't in it, but he was. You are right though. He was in a medical show. Billy Ray Cyrus in the TV show literally called Doc.
Was it just called Doc?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
He was a
2001, 88 episodes. Clint Cassidy.
Great name.
And he's in the pilot of Sue Thomas FBI.
Was he in Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman though?
I don't think so. I think you're thinking of the guy that played Hawkeye.
Someone asked, was Billy Ray Cyrus in Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman? And the answer is quite simply no. So, it wasn't just me. Mandela effect. Someone replaced Billy.
Jojo will level out. I think Jojo needs to embrace her squeaky clean image and be loved across America, and then just start hosting television.
No, Jojo just needs to be herself, bro.
Yeah.
What
I mean is like embrace her squeaky clean. Huh?
She's not squeaky clean. She's not black.
She
She doesn't know what she is yet, bro.
She doesn't, but like...
She's been manufactured and orchestrated and controlled.
Yes, but this ain't it. This ain't it. Whatever this is.
Yeah. She needs to dance less aggressively. Although I will say though, Camera's a bitch. It's a banger tune. It's a good song. But don't feel bad about it being a good song. Because she didn't write it or probably even sing it. There's loads of versions of it online from years and years ago.
Right.
I think Dre is even in the music video for one of them. I don't know.
Oh shit, there's another thing. Did you listen to the new Eminem? While everything old is new again?
Yeah, like I didn't listen to it.
Well, that's not good.
It's not good?
No, I mean, like, if he's hoping on... I don't know. Like, I was going to say, like, you imagine the sort of, like, OG listeners are going to come back and listen. And if an OG listener's like, I didn't listen to it.
I wasn't really an OG listener of Eminem per se. I wouldn't say, not really, no. I would have listened to, like, I like more of his serious songs growing up. I have a bit more time.
You're a little younger than me as well.
Humor.
Like, I remember that summer when, like the Marshall Mathers album and all that Slim Shady stuff happened, and it was, like, everywhere.
Yeah, I remember my brother's taking it off my mum taking it off my brother.
Yeah.
When we were younger. But I was in, like, 5th or 6th class.
Right, so maybe you just weren't interested?
Potentially 5th class. Probably wasn't really interested as such. I didn't really get it, yeah.
Yeah, you were more into, like, old school stuff.
Well, I actually, to be honest, I was probably listening to Weedus and Alien Ant Farm and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, definitely Weedus and Alien Ant Farm.
Well, I didn't think much of it.
And The Offspring.
And, yeah.
You didn't think much of it. Fair enough. Yeah, okay. So, not this time. But didn't he release an album? Didn't Eminem release an album, like, a couple of years, only a handful of years ago? And, like, every track was, like, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran, and this and that. And it was a little bit, like, too much, you know? I'm not a Beyonce fan anyways, but...
Not a Beyonce.
Not a Beyonce fan. I like Destiny Child back in the day, but not Bay Wants. I like Eminem. I have no qualms or anything with him. I like his music. Like, I know he has said some pretty risque stuff, but I think it's very much through a lens.
Yeah.
You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I realize that. Whatever, I'm not getting into that. But Karma's a bitch.
Okay, I did. Okay, so Kevin's a JoJo Siwa boy.
Yeah, for sure. JoJo.
How has your week been? Is there? I don't know. You can evade this question. Favorite image you tattooed this week?
Oh yes, good question. I like that question. Favorite.
Assuming that you love them all, what's the favorite one you did?
Assuming that I love them all. Okay, so I guess there's 2 tattoos that I did this week that I thought were kind of different and fun.
Okay.
So first one, basically, long story short, one of my customers got a piece commissioned by Jay Lee of Marvel fame, and comic book fame, I should say. I believe his name is Jay Lee. That's correct, right? You know what I'm talking about. Steve, Dark Tower, Sentry, all that kind of stuff. So my customer, I got a commission piece from Jay Lee of Multiple Man, his favorite character, and I was able to tattoo that this week, and I quite enjoyed doing it. You know, I was doing he wanted the image to be in a or kind of a corner box like you would have seen in classic Marvel.
Right. Oh, I do love that. Yeah.
And if anybody wants to see it, you can go on to our.
You can put it on the cast Instagram.
Yeah, put it on the cast Instagram.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a bit different. And then, other than that, I'll send it. I'll just send it. Why am I showing you? I always do that. I always show you stuff on the camera where I could just text it to you. All these newfangled things. So I'm going to send these to you, Ado, and then you can see for yourself. Aiden's a bitch. So, but yeah, so I did a Jay Lee commission piece based on Multiple Man. That was so much fun. And then the second piece, a customer of mine. Shout out to Kenny. Kenny's a great guy. Kenny's a sound engineer, tech guy for The Killers. They're on tour at the moment. He's back in Ireland from California. I've tattooed Kenny multiple times, and some of the other behind the stage or the stage crew from The Killers guys. Kenny is always like so generous and kind, and he looks after us, and he's always hooking us up with tickets for shows and stuff. He's a really, really cool guy. Every time he comes here, he gets tattooed, and he owns a ranch kind of in California, 30-odd acre ranch, I believe. Right. Cutting oak, with a chainsaw, he mangled his leg pretty bad. So just cut it open really bad, you know.
Right.
And then
my body just had chills thinking about that.
I know, he showed me pictures and it's just gross. I don't like seeing pictures, but I always tell people this, but people, I guess they don't believe me.
Right.
But anyways, but the second image I sent you is Kenny said he wanted to get a lumberjack cutting some wood.
Right.
So I thought it'd be kind of funnier or more or different if we incorporate the scar in the trunk of the wood and had the lumberjack standing on it triumphantly.
Right. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. So then that's them. Yeah, it's a big old scar, huh?
I don't like it. My whole body just did a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't be putting that online, but yeah. You might see that on my Instagram.
Huh?
I said you might see it on my Instagram.
Yeah. Ugh.
Kenny posted it, so it's all good. Yeah, man, for sure. I'm like, you know, and to be honest, the gentleman who got the Multiple Man tattoo, massive X-Men fan, huge X-Men fan, and gave me a massive education on a lot of stuff that's going on because I just recently started reading Krakoa.
I gotta, like, that's one of those things where it's like, I want it collected, or I want, like, the bunch of the books, and just, like, I want to be able to, like, know where to start, and know where the, like, do I need to read this spin-off, or is, like, all the X books?
So, I'm working on that at the moment, and I can give you some, because he also gave me lots of information, you know, to kind of read things and follow things and stuff. He's been pretty good. He's read loads of it. But yes, I'm kind of like, I do have the first couple of books, and I'm reading them, you know, so if you want to borrow them, I can give you that. Or also, if you also still have your Marvel Unlimited, and they're starting to put them on that now as well. You can read House of X and Power of X and all that kind of stuff. I can send you a reading guide later.
That's what I need. I needed like an order to fucking read these things in.
They're still working them out and all that kind of stuff. Like people are still working them out, but generally, kind of like I do have a decent enough one that I like to follow on. I found it on Reddit, I believe. This kind of is a single issue stuff, but it's a nice breakdown of it. I just want someone to do the graphic novels, because I'm not buying singles issues with this stuff.
Yeah,
you know, that's too much for me. Yeah, so it was my customer gave me loads and loads of just kind of like just like a big education, and it was great chats. Really, really good experience. It was lots of fun.
House of X, Power of X.
Yeah, you see,
Dawn of X.
It's House of X, Power of X, and then I think it's X-Men 1 to whatever.
1 to 6, New
Yeah,
Mutants 1, 2, 5, 7.
yeah. There's
X
different
Force, like,
things.
how the fuck are you supposed to know, like, you know?
Well, this is it, bro. But I was going to say to kind of House of X and Power of X. Like you can buy
Wolverine
that,
24 to 25, X Force 30 to 33, X Men Reds
but
6,
look,
6.
you can buy this. This book is pretty cool. It's House of X, Power of X, and it's all 12 issues. And I think they've staggered them as well or they've put them in an order that works more. You know, you're not reading like House of X 1 to 6, then Power of X 1 to 6. It's like you're reading House of X number 1, and then Power of X number 2, and whatever. I don't know whatever the different names are, but yeah. Interesting thing though about reading X Men. I have been reading a lot of old X Men.
Right.
Like I had gone back and I was reading I was trying to read like the first whatever issues of Jack Sandy and Jack Kirby's X Men, and I'm still reading that. I'm still getting through it, but it's just, and then a lot of the X Men I read, kind of also prior to that, has been more stuff like 70s, 80s, 90s, touching a little bit on the early 2000s. But I very much have kept my X Men consumption like
In that sort of era.
anything before 2000,
Right.
essentially.
Okay.
I have consumed little bits and pieces here and there, but not a lot. So this is the first, I would say, real contemporary X-Men stuff I'm reading. You know? Because I've read a lot of X-Men, just not new stuff. But so it's kind of, how do I say this? It's like, it is exciting, and it's kind of like interesting, because it's just like I'm reading this stuff now. Obviously, it's way easier to read than the Stanley and Jack Kirby stuff. That stuff is hard to read. There's so much explaining what's going on, while it's just drawings of what's going on, and it's just everything's so on the nose. And then like all the stuff I would have read from the 70s, 80s, and even 90s, it's like kind of my impression of superheroes, alien technology, alien fashion, all this kind of stuff is stuff that was indicative or around from the 80s and 90s and stuff. So reading these things now, and I'm seeing like kind of how like modern day artists interpret like alien technology, superhero costumes, and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun to see. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so used to kind of say like that version of stuff from a particular period of time, but it's cool to see like people's interpretations of what these worlds will look like, aliens look like, superhero costumes and stuff, and not being bogged down by so much of the on the nose stuff to a degree. Even though there's a lot of stuff to digest when you start reading this book, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Like informationally and stuff.
Well, there's a thing I was looking at like ahead of the Wolverine game that's coming out as well. Somebody posted like all the costumes they want to see in the game, and then like I was reading a clip of reading a section where like Cyclops was, I think, Phoenix powered and destroying the place. Is that a 10 a.m. Coca-Cola? Little mini Coke.
It's actually normal sized. I just have big hands.
Right. I feel like my stomach would burn out from Coca-Cola this early in the day.
I'll just be honest, I just had it heavy sided, so I was like, why not?
Fair enough.
And
I think the thing that I had with looking at X-Men recently enough is like, it's like Bob calls it the shuffling of the deck. It's like, it's not good enough that the thing is the thing anymore. It always has to fucking change, And
but it has to change,
I understand that. I do understand that, but it's just like, in that case, let's just do a different thing. Like by the time I'm looking at a version of Wolverine with like fucking light up claws, I'm like, wait, his secondary mutation is he channels heat through them now or something, and like I never got to that.
No, they never. None of that stuff sticks though.
Yeah, but it's just like, why are you doing it?
Because writers always. It's like I was even reading some stuff recently, and it's just like and it's like I understand it. You're getting your what potentially could be your one shot at doing something for the big two. You want to make a mark. And they'll always either try and introduce new characters or try and like change all characters instead of just like, just there's a little backlog of loads of great characters to choose from. Just go with that, or you know, they don't need to do that to that character. What if it's not broken? Don't fix it. You know, whatever. But people like to make their mark.
It's but that's I don't know. That's not. I suppose you could just fade into obscurity otherwise, but it's just like, would you just write a story that's in the world of these people rather than trying to rewrite these people from top to bottom every time you do? Do you know what I mean?
I know, yeah, yeah. But the thing is, like, they're also always just retconning these things. You know? Yeah. So I never worry about it too much. I was just gonna say though, the Krakoa stuff that I started reading, it is fun. It is cool. I am looking. I am looking forward to seeing where it goes. At the moment, it's very like kind of just like information heavy. Like you know, Hickman even loves doing like bloody big old pie charts, and like there's lots of like info pages. You know, like actual kind of like stuff like timelines and charts, and like it's a little bit intense. And I before I was looking into reading, I was like, should I read anything before this? And then just like, oh yeah, read Hickman's Fantastic Four and Avengers. And then it's just like, yeah, but I'm going to start reading that. And I'm going to be like, what should I read before this? And it's just like, no, fuck it. I'm just reading Krakoa. I'm just going to get on with it.
Fair enough. Actually, before we do that, and we're still in a weird like pop space talking about JoJo fucking Siwa.
Yeah.
I listened to that Sabrina Carpenter song, please.
Yeah, I was going to mention it earlier, yeah.
I don't know that it's about Barry Keoghan. Like, you hate to presume. But at the same time, he's in the music video. And did you listen to the lyrics of this fucking song?
Well, like, I listened to some of it, but at the same time, dude, like, it's like she didn't write that song.
You don't think so?
I don't think anybody writes their songs in pop music. If Beyonce gets writing credits and she doesn't write, she might just add in like a "oh yeah" at the end of a sentence, and then she gets like writing credit, which is an absolute fact. Don't quote me on that anyway, but yeah. No, man. Like she like I never think kind of pop people write their own songs. They might do that stuff initially and get to a certain point, but then it's so, you know,
it takes over and becomes. I'm just confirming this because the writing credit is Sabrina Carpenter, and listen to this really genuinely annoys me because. No, it doesn't genuinely annoy me, but like, because I'm not giving it all that much fucking thought. But like, at the same time, it's like, don't be that guy. Don't be that Irish guy that goes out to the world and proves every fucking stereotype. You know? I mean, the lyric is, I heard that you're an actor, so act like a stand-up guy. Whatever devil's inside you, don't let him out tonight. I tell them it's just your culture. And everyone rolls their eyes, and I'm like, ugh, Barry, get your shit together.
Oh, well, that's, but like, it's not, like, how old is she? It's not a bit of an age gap there?
She's 25 and he's 31, 32. It's something like that, you know?
Yeah, well, like, I don't really, like, not that...
I have a fun idea, babe. Maybe just stay inside. I know you're craving some fresh air, but the ceiling fan is so nice. We could live so happily if no one knows that you're with me. I'm just kidding, but kind of really. These are the lyrics. If you want to go and be stupid, don't do it in front of me. It's like, oh, buddy, get your shit together. And also, then he's in the music video for this.
Yeah, like it's like I watched the music video, and I'll be honest with you, it's a bit too cringe for me.
The whole fucking operation. If you don't want to cry to my music, don't make me hate you so prolifically.
Yeah, like kind of, it's nonsense.
I just fucking get your shit together. That's so reductive to whatever pain, trauma, or difficulties the man might be going through. But at the same time, it's like, whatever you're doing, don't have one of the fucking world's biggest pop stars write a fucking song about it.
But like again though, like kind of, I don't think I wouldn't say it's about him. He's just, they're dating or something, and they put him into a music video. It's hype now. It will move on, and like this is just cross promotional.
But that's why I'm like, there's no way it's not about him. And when you're like, yeah, it's hype now, it's cross promotional, but like, what damage is that doing to his reputation in the space of a 2-month fucking song release? You know what I mean? Because all that's happening in the sort of like online discourse is like people noticing that he left his pregnant girlfriend for a 25-year-old pop star. It's not good for the old reputation.
But like, that, don't put this in the podcast.
Okay.
I just don't see the appeal of fucking Sabrina, fucking whatever her name is, Carpenter. She looks as basic as fuck. She looks like a poor man's Hayden Panettiere, just with fucking loads of slap on. Her like, as much as I fucking hate saying it, like, I don't like the song Please Please Please, but it's getting such a fucking push, like it's starting to grow on me, and I fucking hate it. But it's like, I don't even care about that stuff. But it's all fake, bro. None of this is fucking real. Like, yeah, he's fucking probably a goober and fucking lets his missus for sure or whatever. But like, this is as orchestrated can get, I guess, you know. Sabrina Carpenter is not writing a single fucking song. Like, there's nothing going on there, you know.
Why do you think that?
I'd fairly know, if you get me. Like, I know it's like I have nothing to say back it up or nothing to prove it or nothing to say boo, but it's just like, I know I'd be almost 99.9% certain. It's not that it will come out, it's always the way it is. Like, she probably have a writing credit on this song, but it's only because she probably put like one or two sentences in it. That girl didn't write this song, man. They don't write their songs.
I know, like, look, I know that. See,
That's
why am
old.
why am I the guy arguing? But like, Billie Eilish, is she writing her songs?
Man, like, they're in rooms with people,
Yeah.
musicians and writers and all that kind of stuff, and they're writing with them. Man, they're not doing shit. You know. Beyonce doesn't write a single fucking song in her life.
Oh, I never thought Beyonce did. I just don't know anything about Sabrina Carpenter's fucking writing,
But, like,
or existence.
Like, it's just like I said, like, Lady Gaga probably wrote a couple of songs initially, but they don't write songs anymore. They're sent hits.
But of course, and they always have been, and they've always done covers and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like, again, you might be right. Like the thing with this is, like, to get the writing credit means you're getting a chunk of money off it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, they're not putting you on there if you don't actually do something, right?
No, that's absolutely not the case. Beyonce, bro. Beyonce, you ever see her songs? Like, it's like you kind of Freddie Mercury wrote like Bohemian Rhapsody, and then it's like 12 people wrote Who Rules the World Girls with Beyonce. Like,
Yeah, but we accept the idea that like, why do we accept the idea that Freddie's able to sit down and write a song, and we can't accept the idea that Sabrina Carpenter's able to sit down and write a song?
because I just don't think that's the pop industry now.
Okay.
I think there's
There's two people credited on Please Please. Oh, well, the producer's there as well. Sabrina Carpenter and Amy Allen. And Amy Allen is definitely from that industrialized end of things. Yeah, she definitely writes songs for people.
yeah, she's a songwriter.
Yeah. But
She
what?
writes
So Amy
songs
Allen's
for-
a songwriter, Sabrina Carpenter isn't?
Yeah. She might be like, oh, what do you, like, you know, let's talk about it. What do you want to do? Oh, like, maybe I want a song that's like, because like she is obviously the artist who sings and has the voice range or whatever. Like, that doesn't mean like she can't sing, you know what I mean? Like, she's just not doing this stuff.
Sure.
Amy Rose Allen has wrote songs with Rose, apparently, Harry Styles, Tate McRae, Justin Bieber, Halsey, Shawn Mendes, Selena
Halsey.
Gomez, so among others. So like, yes, like she's.
No, you're probably right. I like to believe, you know? I like to believe.
I like to, like, even like with kind of some of the bands I grew up listening to and all that kind of stuff. In hindsight, they're probably like aspects of those things would have been manufactured, you know.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's
Everything-
walk back a little bit, though, right? My point is not whether or not... My point is the narrative that they have created here is very specifically Barry Keoghan's a drunk,
Yeah,
and he's a mess, and he's a liability when she brings him places. And that's the song she's put out in the world.
but do you not think like we just for argument's sake she could be
Right.
she could be drawing on, you know, experiences from her past, and she could have had, you know, we just say if she was a singer songwriter, she could have had a notepad with like different lines and hooks that potentially could work for different things, and then she, you know, was recording new music and rejig some old material. Like we're assuming this is about Barry, but it might not be.
I know what you're saying, especially when you're working with a couple of people. There's shared experiences.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, this is the longest conversation and the most sort of broken down we've ever got into fucking anything to some degree. There aren't that many fucking lyrics in this.
There's not, but that's also...
There's not that many fucking lyrics in this, and it's like her talking about a partner. They say you're an actor. Act like a stand-up guy. Please don't drink. Please don't embarrass me. I say it's your culture. Like, drinking fucking Irishness has a reputation, and it's like I there's no fucking way this is about anyone else, especially as in the video, and they're making so much of their fucking relationship. I don't know what we'd be fucking. I don't know why we're trying to pretend this isn't about Barry Keoghan. I feel like if he wanted to sue her over this, he'd have good fucking grounds to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm actually not pretending this, or I'm actually not pretending this is about Barry. I'm sure it is, or alludes to things and blah blah. But I also don't care. And it's not that I dislike modern pop. I like pop, and I like modern pop and all that kind of stuff. This just feels like kind of very.
But what does it feel like? Why do this?
For
except to like distance yourself a little bit from a guy you know is slightly problematic.
Well, no, they're like full on dating, right?
They're full on dating, but she just released a song that went, "Look, I know he's a drunk, and I'm trying to get him to behave.
Yeah,
I am not responsible for this man. I'm trying to fucking keep him in line."
When did Dunkirk come out?
When did Dunkirk come out?
10 years ago?
Fuck me, did it?
No, I'm asking. I don't know. I'm
asking you.
I'm just thinking because I feel like he was really young in that movie.
2017.
Dunkirk came out in 2017. How old is he in that movie? Because he looks like a.
Well, he's playing a young boy. He's playing a boy in it, right? Like,
yeah, but he looks like a boy.
Yeah. He's not that old.
Well, he's 31.
Yeah, that's not that old.
Well, not that old, but I'm 36. I'm not saying shit, but I'm just saying like he wasn't 15 in 2017. That's for sure. He was like 24.
All right, but he wasn't meant to be playing 15 at that point, right?
I don't know. I thought he was. I thought that was a young schoolboy he was playing.
No, he was like younger fisherman.
Oh,
right?
I don't know.
Wasn't that it? Like he's on the boat going back to rescue people.
Well, I can't remember.
Well, look, that's the Barry Keoghan rant. I'm just more annoyed that like the Irish are having a moment with Paul Mescal and Andrew Scott and all these fucking people, and Barry's out there just fucking getting some A-list fucking coverage as a fucking fool.
Well, Cillian Murphy's doing like Ireland definitely seems to be more in the lens lately than ever before. I know politically and being outspoken about Palestine certainly adds to it. But the whole, like, kind of like all the actors that are in the lens,
helps that Brexit happened.
Yeah, and then
don't shoot in the UK, come to Ireland, hire Irish people.
Yeah. Speaking of Cillian Murphy, I did watch Oppenheimer for the first time.
Oh,
last weekend.
Okay, we did an episode about this in August of last year. Did you enjoy it?
Wouldn't say I enjoyed it.
Right.
I think it's fine.
Okay. I think it's definitely one of those things that's like the IMAX of it all makes it pretty overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Did you watch it as Nolan intended on your phone?
No. I watched it on my TV.
Yeah. It's good. It I think the overwhelming scale and sound of it all is engaging, and it makes things. It cements an impression in your head of a thing.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, kind of Disastrous as a movie I thought was good. It's very well acted and all that kind of stuff. Am I super at this stage? Am I super kind of fussed that like basically? I just feel like Christopher Nolan as of late is, and I think Dunkirk was a good movie if he didn't bother with the time, kind of the staggered timeline or whatever. And I also feel like kind of like it's almost like he's leaning on that to make these movies more interesting. And it's like you don't really need to.
His concepts of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, fuck, he's got to play with what he wants to play with. It's the whole point of becoming as popular as he is. Do you know what I mean? You do that to give yourself the leeway, the room. I know what you're saying, though. Yeah, like the Dunkirk thing is an interesting thing where it's just like we're going to show these three stories concurrently, but from the perspective of a fighter pilot, this is only going to take 20 minutes, to get from here to there. From the perspective of the guys on the land, it's going to take, we're going to need an hour and a half to show you it. And from the perspective of the boats, it's going to take 2.5 hours. Like, oh god, Thursday's catching up. I understand why he did it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't necessarily mind it in Dunkirk as much. And it's not a big critique or anything that I just think it's
Did you think the time jumps in Oppenheimer were confusing? Was it?
Yeah, kind of. I just I not necessarily confusing. Not necessarily confusing. Just I think a little bit unnecessary. I don't know. It's a fine movie. It's 3 hours of random conversations strung together to make a cohesive narrative. That's what
3 hours of conversations strung together to make a cohesive narrative.
Yeah.
What's the commentary there? Because that just sounds like a story.
No, but where
if you had said it's because you said cohesive narrative, you make it sound like it works.
Well, it works in the sense of does it work? I don't know.
Huh?
But no, I mean as in random conversations in terms of it's just pluck from here and pluck from there and pluck from here and pluck from there, and where at least other stories it's just kind of there's you lead into it, you know what's going on, you follow through, it progresses, where I feel this is a snaps of conversations from different timelines.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I do to a degree. I know what you're trying to get, but I don't. I've watched it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fairly linear. I think that you can hold in your head the idea that when he's being interviewed in the fucking room, that's one period of time. When everything's black and white, that's a different time. And when the journey from student to professor to creating the nuclear bomb to blowing the nuclear bomb up, that's fucking linear.
Yeah.
The narrative where he is trying to put the bunny back in the box, as they say, and being sort of buried, that's its own thing. And Downey Jr. trying to get confirmed is a separate. I don't think it's that jumbled, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Fair.
But that's me. Would you watch it again?
No. But look, it's fine, bro. It's just, I think there is also, maybe it's my own fucking, grievances, I don't know. But it was hyped very much so.
Look, let's not get bogged down in a year-old movie at this point in the podcast. I think is the thing. I could talk to you about this, but let's keep moving forward. I was watching The Acolyte, the Star Wars show. I don't know if you've watched any of that.
No, I'm not watching Star Wars anymore.
That's basically where the world is at. We're not watching Star Wars anymore.
Yeah.
This show is fine. The internet's having a complete flip out, especially the more just the usual dorks end of things.
Shit, okay.
Because it's a show run by a lady.
Oh no!
And it stars many ladies. It stars many ladies. Episode 3 really fucking got people's goat. I don't want to get into what people are fixating on there, because who gives a shit.
Just tell me in one sentence.
Okay, well, the show is called The Acolyte, and it opens with a Jedi being assassinated. It's 150 or however many years before the prequels. Yeah, so it's before the Skywalker saga. They're trying to go this is the Republic at its whatever. And somebody kills a Jedi, and some Jedi knights are sent out to find the person that did it. And it turns out it matches somebody, the description matches somebody who is a former Jedi or a Padawan that left the Order before fully qualifying. And then they find out that that person had a twin that they thought was dead. So there's two of them. And then you start to learn, like, this person got brought into the Jedi Order because they were, like... it remains to be seen as to whether they were abducted falsely or whatever from a force-wielding cult that were rejected because of their beliefs. I don't want to put any of the internet bias on it, but it's a coven of women who have left Republic space in order to practice their religious beliefs. It's like I don't know if it's getting at an indication that, like, the Jedi's persecution of this sect leads to the foundation or the resurgence of the Sith. Because there's a character that you see at the end of the first episode who's like Darth Vadered up, like all helmet and whatever, who has a red lightsaber, and you don't know who that is. And in episode 3 we see the flashback to when the girl and her twin sister were children, and they're with their sect on this planet, and the Jedi show up and they're like, well, hold on, this is a force sensitive child, so we have claim on him and we get to test them and take them away and train them if they want to be a Jedi. And the sect ends up dead and the kid gets taken away. And I saw somebody point out that, like, well, obviously the Darth Vader up Sith character is going to turn around at some point and go, you know, Luke, I am your mother. And, you know, that's going to be the reveal.
Oh.
You know, so it's like, who's this person? Well, obviously it's one of the mothers that we all thought was dead. And being driven into, the sect being driven under or into extinction is what kicks off the Sith, in opposition to the Jedi. I feel like that's where it's going. Again, I'm trying to avoid the arguments that I've heard on a number of videos, because I also think that I'm getting fed these videos because I'm watching these videos, and I'm really actively trying to find the positive reviews for this thing, because I gotta balance out this fucking YouTube algorithm a bit, because it's getting a bit like, ugh.
Yeah, it's awful. But they do not on purpose.
But here's my thing with this. This show is just bad TV, bad budgets, bad rationales, bad dialogue. It's like, doesn't mean I'm not going to watch it. I watch hours and hours and hours of sci-fi and procedural television and, you know, whatever. The thing is, with a giant franchise like this, you expect better production values. You know, there's a moment where, you know, somebody's running into a building and the shots of them running around the place are like completely disconnected from where they ultimately end up. And I'm just like, what the fuck where's the continuity on this? Why have they done that? They've not established the space. This is dorky. The character is, okay, they assume she's a killer, so they put her on a prison ship back to Coruscant. It's like, but aren't the Jedi going to Coruscant? Why don't they take her? Why did they put her on this drone piloted ship back to Coruscant that experiences a prison break? And I start looking at little things where it's like, she's a Jedi, or at least a formally trained Padawan in her 20s who like left the Jedi Order. She's in a cell on a prison ship that's now crashing. The key to the ship is outside the bars of her cage, and she's reaching, and it's 8 inches from her grasp, and she's really trying and trying and trying, and I'm like, what's the barrier for her using the Force in this instance? Why can't she just use the Force? Because we've been shown that, like, Jedi and the High fucking Republic use that Force fucking willy-nilly. It's like breathing to them. She gets out of her cell, she tries to go to an escape pod, the other prisoners take it, and she's left on her own on a ship. And her solution, as a crippled prison ship, starts entering the atmosphere of a planet under no power, just falling out of the sky into a planet, is to sit down in one of the pilot seats and put her seatbelt on. And she's fine. The spaceship crashes. And I know that this is a stupid, like, I don't know, maybe you can come up with an argument with these things are designed to survive a free fall re-entry into an atmosphere and come out of it okay. But every version of one of these ships I've seen crashing into a planet previously has seen it's a large object falling out of the sky and hitting a planet at however hundreds of miles an hour. Hundreds of miles an hour. I'm like, oh, she survived. Why? Oh, she put a seatbelt on. What? Why are we okay with this? Why did you look at the script and go, she'll survive the spaceship crashing out of orbit because she puts a seatbelt on? Yeah, obviously the ship would be fine, right? I mean...
Yeah, ridiculous. But
it's just bad.
Fair.
Why?
But that's why I don't watch Star Wars stuff anymore.
It's so fucking frustrating. Like, because I love Star Wars. I do love Star Wars. And I'll believe whatever version of the fucking mythology you want to give me. If you want to tell me that there is a coven of Force-sensitive witches that don't call it the Force, they've discovered it through their own meditation and their own fucking roots, and they call it the thread, and like, cool. Make the show better.
Yeah, fair.
Make the show better, guys. It's frustrating.
Yeah, that's like I say, I think after
and it can be done because we've seen The Mandalorian and we've seen Andor. Like it had the same thing with, like, I was talking to Bob about like the Fox Marvel movies, and it's like it just never feels like the people that make the Fox Marvel movies love the content.
Oh yeah.
It feels like they've got a property, so they're going to make a movie. And they're like, yeah, let's get a designer in to take another swing at Apocalypse. And it's like, just make Apocalypse.
I think you can say that a lot for even the Sony Spider-Man movies and stuff. It's like...
Fox and Sony, yes. Yeah. Stop changing the things. Your audience loves the product.
Yeah.
Just because you're not the guy that's passionate about making the Spider-Man movie or the Fox fucking X-Men movie. Like, just... Like, there was a picture I saw of, like, behind the scenes work of, like, what Apocalypse would look like. And it's like... Well, that's like an unused design for Oscar Isaac's costume. It's like, well, that just looks like Apocalypse. Like, the designer just did the character. Fucking magical. Just do the fucking... Anyway.
Ain't that it, huh? Ain't that how it goes?
And the other piece of news we have this week is... there's a bunch of actual news stuff that I'm kind of like half want to talk about. And we go down...
Mad tangents.
Let's go down Marvel and comic-based tangents. And I know are you running out of time? You going to a thing?
Nope. I'm just conscious of the time. But let's keep moving.
Like, look, we could talk about the fact that okay, we'll do it this way. Sony just bought the Alamo Drafthouse franchise.
What's the Alamo Drafthouse?
The Alamo Drafthouse is a cinema chain.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right, and that is interesting. Because there were laws put in place in the 1940s to prevent studios from owning cinemas. Because during the sort of studio system of the early 30s and 40s, you know, cinemas would not play the movies of other studios.
Yeah.
And you had this vertical integration, like they outlawed it. And those laws got loosened in 2020, and Sony is apparently the first studio to just go, let's see what happens if we actually buy the means of distribution.
Mental. That's interesting.
So it's like you could turn up to a chain of theaters that's never going to show you a Marvel movie because
yes, can't do it.
And if your town doesn't have a cinema that Marvel owns, you're not going to see a Marvel movie. That's a bad precedent.
That's awful.
I don't like that at all.
No.
Because that means it's in the very Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus kind of way, you're going to have to go to the Disney Plus cinema to see the Disney movies.
Oh, imagine.
You're going to have to go to the...
Yeah, it would be the death of cinema.
I don't know.
But it's dying anyways, but yeah.
You can only go to Disney's movies if you've got a subscription to Disney Plus.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's weird. And then finally, I guess the director of Blade has left.
Yeah.
So that's another director off of Mahershala Ali's Blade.
And Mahershala Ali is he 50 now?
How old is... I mean, Wesley must be mid-60s?
Uh,
What do we think? Oh,
yes.
he's 60.
Yeah, he's 60, and he was 36 when he filmed Blade in 1998.
Interesting. Was there any truth to the idea that part of what fucked up the first pass on... Part of what fucked up the first pass on Mahershala's Blade was the script they turned in was about Blade training his daughter to take over?
No, someone said that was never true.
Right.
No, yeah, somebody came out and I'm pretty sure someone came out and said a load of the stuff that was kind of coming out about Blade and all that kind of stuff wasn't true at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's why you fact check.
Well, don't fact check it with me. I regularly spew absolute nonsense. That's facts. No. But I think his daughter is in the comics.
Yeah.
But at the moment, there's a big, huge there's a whole vampire storyline in Marvel Blood Hunt. It's all about Blade and X, Y, and Z. I wonder if they had that stuff kind of planned, thinking, oh yeah, because the Blade movies could have come out in this time, and then it's just like, oh, it never did, and we had all this planned, so we may as well go ahead with it.
Blade is still a period piece, rated R. Lilith is going after Blade's daughter's blood to create an army of Daywalkers. I don't know if that's true.
Daywalker.
It's fucking weird that this movie is as troubled as it is. Hopefully they'll get their shit together. But that does bring us to our key talking point or talking piece or conversation piece. The homework we had for this week's episode of the podcast was to watch and deeply research.
Yeah.
The 1998 feature film Blade, starring Wesley Snipes.
Directed by Stephen Norrington.
Right.
Also starring Chris country music star Chris Christopherson and Stephen Dorff.
Do we know what else Stephen Norrington directed?
I know he directed the 2003 League of Gentlemen movie, and I'm pretty sure he had such a horrendous experience on that set with Sean Connery that he retired from the film industry. Or else it was like Sean Connery had such a horrendous moment in that movie that he was just like, I'm never doing movies again. There's a lot of problems in that movie. A lot of problems.
I mean, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I think famously there was massive floods in Europe during the production, and they lost their sets.
Oh shit.
They lost a lot of what money had been put into, just washed away. Steve, okay. When did you watch Blade again?
I watched Blade last night.
Do you remember when you first saw Blade?
Yes, I would remember when I first saw Blade. Yeah. I remember the trailers on TV. I certainly didn't go to the cinema to watch Blade because I was 10 years old when Blade came out. So I was probably 10 or 11 when I first saw it.
Yeah, I remember seeing the posters in bus stops.
Oh, very cool.
Like that poster, him standing there in the black with the sword sort of held horizontal.
Yeah.
What's your take? What's your thoughts? What's your what did you think?
Kind of. I'd have to I like Blade, right? I will say I like the movie. It's a fun movie. Okay. The second Blade movie in particular has a very special place in my heart. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie and watched it numerous times. I also watched the first Blade a lot growing up, Uh-huh. But when I was watching it last night, it was almost much brighter than I remember, just in terms of the lighting and stuff, Okay. In my head, when I think back at stuff, everything seems quite dark, But aesthetically, it was a little bit brighter, which I was kind of just like, oh yeah, to just do that out in the middle of the street in broad daylight. He's just beating up a cop and smashing him off the bonnet of a car. But
It's New York, baby.
It's New York, baby. That's New York City. But New York City. But no, look, kind of. Look, in hindsight, there's a lot more stuff that's like a little bit like lamer than I had initially perceived it to be.
Okay.
Oh, but I had completely and totally forgot about Pearl, and that was like a real like, oh my god, I totally fucking remember Pearl. No, I enjoy this movie. I like this movie. This movie's fine. It's not perfect.
No.
It's not perfect, and like there's like I don't want to be jumping around here, but when spoiler alert, because the movie is.
Don't worry about spoilers for 1998's Blade.
Yes. But like when
it's a superhero movie, there's a good guy, a bad guy, and the good guy wins. Moving on.
And when Wesley Snipes is wiping the blood from Whistler's, when Whistler is all fucked up and dying, and Wesley Snipes just has this tiny little piece of cloth that he's just wiping his face with, and it's just like what's going on there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah. Anyways, you go on. What are your thoughts, feelings, and
my thoughts, feelings, and responses. My thoughts, feelings, and responses, having rewatched 1998's Blade. This movie's fucking cool.
It's great.
This movie's cool. Like it's ropey in places.
Mm-hmm.
It's the special effects are like today. You'd say it's like bad TV, right? It's like when the vampires are getting dusted and the skeletons fall asunder, like they're ropey, right? There's moments where Deacon Frost's like his fingernail becomes a pointy fingernail, and it's like a terrible little CGI overmap thing.
I will just say though, kind of like watching this with Emer last night, Emer was shocked to hear that it was 1998. She thought it was like maybe like 2008.
Right.
So she was kind of saying like it actually like visually and stuff, a lot of it holds up. Like it's impressive.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of it is like in camera special effects.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of CGI that just doesn't quite hold up. But they're taking big swings, and they tend to do them sort of quick enough that you're like, wait, was that shit? And it's gone already, rather than holding on. Like, when he sticks them with the anticoagulant, like, blood thing that makes their heads swell.
Yeah, great stuff.
That shouldn't look as good as it does.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's a physical prop coupled with a CGI thing at the end.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
But, like, this movie has a tone and a style and is doing something. And I think that's really admirable for what this schlocky piece of vampire blaxploitation shit is. And I loved it. I was watching it again going, it's so grainy and like the tone is right and there's the shadows and Whistler's so nonchalant and gruff.
I love Whistler.
Like he's in the car tootling along, and like the car chase thing where they're tracking the familiar, and they've overcranked the footage of the car, so they're going too fast and they're clearly like driving slower than they are.
Yes, I know. It's so funny.
This is the only thing where I'm just like, I wish she just let a little slow, not like it doesn't have to be a high speed pursuit, just let it be the stalking of the thing happen. I actually even like kind of like the weird trippy time lapse cityscape behind him in the window in the back of the car.
And I do like that.
Yeah, that's cool. The decision to apply that overspeed like time lapsey thing to the cars driving around is a bit much.
Yeah.
Because when he then creeps up after him like in real speed, you're like a real speed, like at a correct frame rate. It's like, no, that's actually better. That's more intimidating than sort of just like car driving around. It's doing things. It's weird. It's playing with like in-camera effects like time lapse and like whatever the fuck. And there's some goofy moments where it's like a sense of humor being played out, where like there's a fight at the end and like there's a lot of like blocking and punching and parrying, and there's like a cash register noise going off where it's like ting 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 ting, like it's a video game racking up points. And it's like, ooh, there's just a couple of moments where you're like, no, you're missing the tone. You're making fun of yourselves here at the moment where you don't need to be. We're at a heightened moment here. Like when he feeds on the doctor and like has that moment where he's like, ah, and has an angry face. It's like, this is class. This is what Blade should be. This is so fucking cool. I was really enjoying it. I'm still about this movie. That opening sequence in the
nightclub,
the rave,
it's
fucking
so
phenomenal.
Great. Yeah.
Could the fights be tightened up by today's standards? Yeah. Could there be some variety in the stuntmen opponents so that they don't look like Adam West era fucking henchmen all wearing the same black jacket and beanie cap? Sure, but like, this movie does a great job.
It's great. It's a lot of fun. I was gonna say, do you know when? Can't think of the guy's name, but he's Quinn in the movie. Quinn is the guy who just keeps on getting his arms chopped off. And
Donald Logue.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
When there's this after the nightclub rave, or the blood rave, Donald Logue's character is set on fire. Mm-hmm. That was actually the cops kind of walk into that scene. That would have been Stanley's first cameo, essentially, but it got cut from the movie. But
he was going to be one of the cops.
Yes, yeah, coming across Donald Logue and the survivor of the blood rave,
right.
And the scene where Karen is talking to her, I think it's Curtis, is it, or something? Is her like they're like
the ex guy?
Yeah, the ex, and he's just like kind of like, look, like, would you ever?
Why didn't we work?
Yeah, and then Logue jumps up. Donald Logue had suffered an accident or something years before, but long story short, jumped up too fast, kind of opened up his mouth too wide for the thing, and completely dislocated his jaw. So he had to be rushed to hospital. They were filming in an abandoned hospital, and then he had to be rushed to hospital in full third-degree burns, like naked garb, you know?
Right. That's so funny.
Yeah, but because like obviously all the characters are screaming in the scene and stuff, and when this finished cut, Donna was still screaming because like obviously he'd fucked up.
But like that prosthetics and makeup looked great.
Mm-hmm.
When that character jumps out the window and lands into the fucking ambulance, like he jumps out the window and he doesn't fall. He like lands like he's going to catch himself quite well.
Mm.
And then, can you imagine that fucking burnt out fucking rat of a human fucking thing landing in front of you?
I know, yeah.
And like,
great.
It's gritty and fucking tongue-in-cheek in many ways, while being like trying to be deeper than it has any right to be, because it doesn't pull that off. The idea that he's got this plant in his meditative space that represents the both sides of his humanity and his demonness, and it's like, let's just show this plant a few times but not really talk about it at all.
No.
And then just show him cutting the roots off the plant to symbolize him separating himself from his humanity. I had to Google what they were trying to get across, and was like, this is what they were trying to get across with this? I didn't miss something? It's like, this is what they're trying to... It's supposed to be separating himself from, I don't know, the humanity as he goes to hunt and becomes the beast.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
Like, it's
a good movie. The stuff with his mum in the comics now, kind of Deacon Frost, I think, does kill his mum, and that's kind of where Blade comes from. But she doesn't survive, so she survives in this. And Blade then is infiltrating the place of the vampires, or whatever. Deacon Frost's home. He comes across his mother, who's being kept in some sort of like futuristic crypt type of thing. I think like somebody was saying like the actor who was playing his mother is actually 7 years younger than
Wesley.
But that's fine though, because she's a vampire.
It's kind of fine, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, somebody like I saw because I was trying to do some reading, but
yeah, that's fine.
But people are kind of giving up about that, and it's just like, no, I'm not too sure. That's like that makes sense though. You know, like that makes sense for the movie. But anyways, we were watching it last night, and Eva was kind of freaked out about how like sexual the mother is with Blade. It's very weird to some people, Aidan. No shame.
No, it is. I'm not shaming you.
No,
how would I shame you for?
I'm not shaming you. You seem to react in a way that you felt.
No. I was trying not to read it as sexual.
It was a bit sexual.
But it was so fucking. The ravey music is so 90s as well.
Yeah.
Like that score is good.
There's also a whole thing, in fairness, like, okay, because I think what we got up to this, how we got to this originally watching Blade was that the bullet time moment where Deacon Frost and Blade are facing off out in the public. Deacon Frost is sunblock around so he can't burn, and he's holding a little child hostage. Totally forgot that Deacon Frost just fucks a child across the park and into a bus stop, and the child gets up and it's just like, what the fuck?
Throws a child
through
a fucking flower stand.
Child's not even crying.
It's not. I don't think it's bullet time.
No, it just slows down. But still, it was the first time in my head that I kind of, you see the bullet exit the gun. It's slowly.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Did you not see that scene?
I did. I was trying to I was trying to think about it in terms of, okay, what I think of as bullet time is that camera rotation around.
Okay.
Right? Because you're switching from film cameras to photography still cameras and then basically replaying them like it's animation to create this rotation. And that's what I think of as bullet time. You're talking about the Matrix where he falls back and he dodges all the bullets, that specific moment. And you're right, that's probably bullet time as well, or probably called bullet time as well. And you've got the CG bullets like whizzing by him and hitting his knees and him dodging and whatever. I know exactly what you're saying. That moment was like literally like I was watching this and I was like WhatsApping probably you or Bob or somebody else at the same time going, this movie holds up and they're getting away with the effects because they're not really drawing that much attention to, oh, here's a crazy close-up of a shiny rubbery looking bullet leaving a gun. I was like, that doesn't hold up. But like it's okay, this is where I get to my key takeaway from this film, having enjoyed, like, he's a great Blade and
brilliant. We also go on.
I don't know, whatever, like, the third Blade movie is famously a fucking train wreck. I went to see it one time, I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
I know, see, the writer of this movie, David S. Goyer, he wrote and directed the third one. Oof. Now, I'm not necessarily,
but I think there's a lot of stuff going on there, whereas this movie was them trying to make a Marvel movie fucking work. That movie was them trying to spin off Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel's characters as well.
Oh yeah,
so it wasn't even a Blade movie at that point,
Hannibal King, and I can't remember.
And it was also an ad for the iPod.
But what were they?
Like, there's a whole sequence.
But hang on. What was their team going to be?
The Night Stalkers or the Death Stalkers or something.
Night Stalkers.
There was some name they had, because it was Natasha Lyonne was in it, I think, as like a blind computer hackery person.
Yeah. Patton Oswalt, wasn't it?
Patton Oswalt as a tech guy, and then like, what's Jessica Biel's deal right now? Oh, she likes to make playlists for when she hunts, and it cuts to her in like rave music, camera rolling around her in 360 as she like makes a playlist in iTunes and puts it on her iPod. And then puts in her iPod earphones and goes for a walk listening to an iPod because iPods. Because iPods.
Blade 2 is great though. Just saying.
Yeah, Blade 2, Guillermo del Toro sort of
fucking
becoming more mainstream.
The Reapers and stuff, so good.
So, like, look, forget Blade 3 for a minute. Just put that aside. My takeaway from watching this Blade movie is even when the vampires are talking about the fucking pacts they have with human politicians to maintain below fucking decks. Even at the end when the magic fucking shit starts happening and the skeletons with wings claw their way out of the bodies. That's looked pretty close to some of the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness stuff we saw.
Not far off,
Right? This is my very not controversial take on fucking Blade. Remaster the special effects. Put a sting on the end of it that connects it to Werewolf by Night or something. Put it in the cinema and call it an MCU movie. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's of its time. If we can see a Captain Marvel movie set in the 90s re-release this as the Blade movie. It's there.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Just remaster the special effects a bit. It's a period piece, and then we see Blade in his 50s as an older man. Like, there's no... Is there a point that, like, the Daywalker doesn't age? Fucking...
No, he ages.
Yeah, just let's see Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, because he's kind of starts showing his vampire powers at 13, but they do say he ages slower than humans.
Cool. Well, all right. Well, then, like, you know, even if you get Mahershala or somebody else, and just tie this in, use the same visual language, bump it into the fucking year 2025.
So the only reason they probably won't do that is because this is New Line Cinema. New Line Cinema was bought by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers technically own this movie.
Listen, I don't know. They must have the rights back to Blade, maybe. I don't know. You're probably right.
Marvel made $25,000 on this movie.
They made $25,000.
Marvel made $25,000 on this movie.
Wow. All I'm saying is, if I had my druthers, if I could do anything in the world, if I could jump off if I could just slot this into the MCU, there's no reason to not. It works. It's great. It doesn't fuck with anything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
But it's also shocking that this movie is like 1998, and like kind of I could be watching this movie. Say if I was watching this movie and Nemo walked down. Aside from like some of the special effects and different things, like even aesthetically, it holds up. Like people don't look too dated.
The cinematography,
fashion doesn't look dated. Stylistically, like it's wild. Yeah.
It's great. It's honest to God, as shitty as this take may be to somebody with better taste than me or whatever, if you told me that this was... Because we've seen the period movie with Captain America the First Avenger, and we've seen the period movie with Captain Marvel in the 90s.
Yeah.
Here's the one that's... that's the one that was in 1994, 95. This is the one that's in 1998. At the end of it, we see, Werewolf by Night, him hunting somebody in Werewolf by Night's there. Just add a sting to the re-release.
Yeah.
And connect it to whatever you want to do going forward. And save yourself a lot of fucking... If you have to spend... Say you have to spend 150 million making a Blade movie, which unfortunately they probably have already between trying to get this fucking thing off the ground. And then you've got to market the fucking thing. How about you just give New Line and Warner some fucking money and release this and get on to the next thing?
Yeah. Yeah, because this can easily just be slotted in, and context be rewritten around it.
Yeah. It's fucking good. They nailed it. I can't think that they're going to fucking do a better job of this.
No. It's so... Like, I love this movie. It's so good.
It stands alone as a vampire movie. And there's no way they make a movie that is this gory, is this kind of viscerally vampirish, and they don't try and connect it to the Eternals or some shit.
I know, yeah.
Just... There's no way they just make a standalone movie that fucking works at this point, unfortunately. I hate that I've said that. Is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Like I said, there is aspects of the movie that are strange and weak and lame in terms of just it was super cool at the time, and I still think it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun, but like you look back at it, it's just like, oh,
What's lame?
What would you say, lame or cringe? Like,
you did say lame.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
What's the moment that's lame and cringe? Maybe some of Donald Logue's mugging.
Some of the vampire stuff is a little bit like even Deacon Frost is a little bit like over the top baddie wise. You know what I mean? A little bit campy with it. I will say though, the scene where obviously Wesley Snipes.
Vampires over the top.
I know, fair.
Yeah.
The scene where they meet Pearl. Pearl is this super obese vampire.
Yeah.
The idea behind Pearl is that Pearl is like so obese they can't hunt anymore. Initially they wanted to have like loads of kind of corpses and bones and basically just essentially like dead children around them.
Right.
But New Line thought that was too dark. but
Too much.
too much. But I love that scene because like the suit that the Pearl, the vampire Pearl is like, it's actually 4 people in that suit. You know, each
Oh, working arms
arms
and stuff.
and then the person at the head. You know,
That's
but it's just like Karen, when she has this like day lamp that she shines on him.
Yeah.
She's so brutal with it.
Can I?
She's
I was just going to
so
say
brutal.
that, right? I don't know if that's.
He
have, you,
moved.
have you got to your point?
Yeah,
yet?
so yeah. That's what I want to say. It's just like you know, basically like she's holding this heat lamp on him, and kind of they're interrogating him. So she turns it on, and then he starts kind of like, you know, spilling the beans and stuff. But she's so severe with it. She's so extreme.
Am I nuts, or how good is Karen as a character?
She's great. She's great.
Just in terms of like,
The studio wanted a white person, but Wesley pushed for a black actor.
she's not running around screaming at any fucking
Nope.
point, really. You know, like she gets bitten, she gets victimized,
Yeah.
she gets brought to fucking Blade's place. They give her a cure, so now she's just sort of wrapped up in this world for a minute.
Yeah, yeah. She's great.
She then immediately just starts doing her fucking thing as a scientist, trying to understand what the fucking thing is going on. She becomes incredibly proactive
Yeah.
throughout the movie.
Yeah, no, it's great. It is great. She is great in it.
Without taking away from it being a Blade film or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
like, it's such a balance. And even Whistler showing up during the Pearl sequence as well, where they blow
I
up in the
know,
fucking wall.
But it's so sad when Whistler passes.
Yeah, but Chris Christopherson's doing a great job as well.
Yeah.
He's so gruff and limpy.
Yeah. No, it's great. Whistler was actually created for I think the animated TV show, and then they liked him that much. The original Spider-Man animated TV show when Blade was in it.
Really?
And then they liked him that much, they brought him into Marvel Comics or something.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a thing, right? Because, you know, I love Blade, and like I have Blade on the background here, just like the best bits kind of thing, like, and like kind of like I said, like there is maybe, okay, you know what? Maybe it's not so much like this Blade, this kind of a little bit cringe aspects of some of it, because it's a little bit too like kind of, you know, cool guy in a dark leather jacket with sunglasses all the time, you know, the kind of way. There's can be moments of it where it's just a little bit like they're trying to be cool, you know, but Wesley Snipes definitely goes too far by the time he does Blade Trinity. Like, I think Ryan Reynolds was asked in an interview, what was it like working with Wesley Snipes on Blade Trinity, and Ryan was just like, I couldn't tell you, I don't know. I can tell you what it's like to work with Blade on a movie. Not really fun, you know.
That's interesting. He went so mad that he was just.
He had to call him Blade and refer to him only as Blade and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and like he hadn't even heard of the character before he did the movie. He wanted Wesley Snipes wanted to do he wanted to do like a black exploitation kind of kung fu movie or something.
There's so much kung fu-iness to that, like the sound effect of like.
So that was it. He wanted to do that, and then when this started coming up, he was just like, I'll just do it in this then, you know. He really wanted to do martial arts movies, but he's into martial arts, you know. But
100%, yeah. Like he's that kung fu era,
and he wanted to do a Black Panther movie, but then he did this. But I always felt bad for poor old Blade, because people come out like Marvel's, you know, like the first black superhero movie, talk about Black Panther and stuff, and I was just like, no. Poor old Blade. Old Blade was the first of the superhero movies. And I don't think we'd have... I genuinely don't think we'd have X-Men if it wasn't for Blade.
But there's even that, yeah, I mean, because the black leather thing became a whole fucking thing. But even like Marvel's marketing loves doing that shit as well. Like, I remember at the time as Captain America came out, they were just like, it's the first period superhero movie. But we also hired a director to make it, who made The Rocketeer, which is a period superhero movie.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like, isn't essentially like any of the kind of Phantom,
yeah. Dick Tracy's a fucking superhero, arguably, you know, like
absolutely.
The Phantom was before,
the
like,
Phantom for sure, bro.
Fuck are you talking about? Look.
But Blade, 10 out of 10. I love it. Like I said, I'm sure there's aspects of it that are a little bit like, you know, it's like I said, it's so old, you know. But I do like it.
No, but it is of its era.
Yeah.
Right. There are movies that run into that run into blockers because they're trying to do things visually or special effects wise or set wise that just can't be done on the budget in that era or whatever. I don't think Blade runs into that. I think even the fucking like temple they built at the end of it is like, that's a lot of temple for a fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like that looks great. Like they did a good job.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some CGI stuff that's ropey.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, we've seen the Fantastic Four now.
Yeah, you see,
you know,
but that's
like,
the thing. Fantastic Four,
CGI was.
Fantastic Four was just 4 years before this, and like we say 4 years before this, okay? Mm-hmm. Realistically, like it wasn't 4 years before this. It was much closer because this came out in 1998. Do you know what I mean? Like so, like from Fantastic Four coming out and then this being in production and being made would have been very different, you know.
Well, just actually using a visual effects company to do effects rather than just hiring a rando in his bedroom.
Yeah, and the effects in this movie, like except for the blood effects, a lot of the effects aren't bad.
Yeah, like some of the CGI liquidy blood stuff is very
especially
red,
towards the end,
being shiny.
And to be honest, that always looked a little bit ropey.
Yeah,
I always remember that looking ropey.
Okay, what I am going to pitch then is let's take a Wesley Snipes movie that isn't Blade, and watch it. Have you seen a lot of Wesley Snipe movies?
I would say yes, but like probably not.
Pull up the old IMDb there, and you tell me what you think you've seen. Oh fuck! I forgot about that one.
Well, what did you forget?
Murder at 1600.
Oh yeah.
Have you the IMDb there?
I have it coming up now.
Cool.
I love Demolition Man and Passion 37.
Yeah, but I think what we should do is aim at something you haven't seen.
Yeah, let me see. And
like he's got like bigger ones that you've not necessarily seen. So like, okay, and I'll go. I haven't seen as well. Like I know New Jack City is a thing. Mo Better Blues. I wouldn't subject you to Rising Sun, though I enjoyed Rising Sun because I just love Sean Connery as well. But it's like it's so fucking weirdly like Orientalist. Like look at the crazy Japanese people. Sean Connery knows about Japan.
So Gala Walker's The Marksman. Seen some of this. Oh yeah, Rising Sun. Oh yeah, I know Rising Sun.
Drop Zone.
Oh, he did The Art of War too. Interesting. Drop Zone. I love Drop Zone.
You love Drop Zone.
I love Drop Zone. I love.
Let's try and find peak. Like, Blade wandered into a bunch of stuff. Or sorry, Wesley Snipes wandered into a bunch of stuff. Like Undisputed. Like this is his direct-to-video era, right?
Yeah.
But there's his like come-up era. But then there is like. Again, Mo Better Blues, New Jack City, Jungle Fever, White Men Can't Jump, Passenger 57, Demolition Man, Drop Zone and Money Train. I feel like we're starting to fall off a little, and then Blade picked him up again.
Oh, Drop Zone's great, bro.
Before Blade, but after say Mo Better Blues.
Yeah.
Let's pick a film for me, and let's watch it.
Blade 2. No.
Drop Zone came out around the same time as Terminal Velocity, right?
Maybe.
Which is a similar like parachute heist movie.
You see, yeah, Drop Zone is a parachute. And then Passenger 57, I think it's a sequel to US Marshals, is it, technically?
Terminal Velocity came out in 1994. Drop Zone came out in 1994. A maverick skydiver and a former KGB agent team up to stop the Russian mafia stealing gold. Drop Zone is a tough cop teams up with a skydiver to capture a renegade computer hacker on the run from the law. Skydiving had a minute.
Yeah, oh, it absolutely did, bro.
I liked Yancey Butler.
Jungle Fever by Spike Lee. You said you've seen Jack City.
New Jack City? I don't think I have.
Oh, well, then let's do New Jack City.
Let's do New Jack City?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
A crime lord ascends to power and becomes megalomaniacal while a maverick police detective vows to stop him. New Jack City. Cast. We've got Wesley Snipes, Ice-T, Chris Rock, Alan Payne, Mario Van Peebles, Michael Michelle, Bill Nunn, Russell Wong, Bill Cobbs, Judd Nelson, Vanessa Williams. This is kind of like a cult classic.
Mm-hmm.
I have never watched it, but it gets referred to a fair amount. Let's go with New Jack City.
That's it.
Anything else you want to add at the end of the podcast?
Not at all. I did watch the latest episode, 3 episodes of The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Very good. I got 3 seasons of The Boys to watch now.
Go watch them. I enjoyed the new episodes. I'm just trying to think anything in particular. Look, I won't go into it. I'm enjoying it. And then I did watch the 2nd season of Invincible.
Okay.
Which I thought was awesome. Really enjoyed it, but I waited to watch it all at once.
Yeah, I should probably jump into it now, because the thing is this, I know the book inside out, so it's hard to...
oh yeah, fair. Yeah, to watch it.
It's hard to go to watch it, because it's like, I've read the comics upside down and inside out. It's like, what are you going to do different?
Fair.
And they aren't.
They're not.
And I don't need them to.
No.
But it's just like, I don't necessarily need to watch it, because I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've animated it in my brain through the power of imagination.
Amazing. So impressed. Cool. All right. This is me being me. This was you. Was you being you.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be you next time?
I'll be me next time. Will you be you?
I'm in a constant state of evolution.
I'll be me. You'll be you. The show will be just us two.
Oh.